Yeah, you read that correctly. I did rob a bank in New York a couple weeks ago, along with a bunch of other people that you also probably know. Also, yes, I am in person showing my actual face, except this time it was the other people around me that were wearing the clown faces, and they just so happened to be the main characters of Payday 3. If you see other people's videos, that is me, and it is okay that they're showing my face. Just wanted to get that out of the way. I actually thought that there would be a situation where we'd rob a mock bank, so I brought a yellow balaclava and contacts in order to cosplay myself, but it never happened, so I'll have to find another way to use those in the future. If you got any ideas, let me know in the comments. As you can imagine, since they flew us out to New York for the event, this video is indeed sponsored by Payday 3, so I would like to thank them for the support, as well as, of course, putting on a top-notch event. It was a really good time, and as you'll find out, a really cool game. Speaking of the game, let's get to it. Although the game is a lot of fun and the event went well, the recording did not go so well. So all of the footage that you see on the docks map is not mine, although we did get to play that location with fully leveled characters. We also got to play the bank map, which you're going to be able to check out for yourself in the beta right now if you're interested. Which, speaking of, if you're watching this before the 12th of September, you should go and do that if you're interested by anything that I'm about to go and say. It is specifically the bank location, and you'll also have a ton of loadout options from guns to gadgets to perks. The TLDR is that, in my opinion, based off mostly the time that I got in the fully leveled characters, this is a fantastic successor to the previous game. It captures the good while mixing in a bunch of new, and I very genuinely enjoyed playing it. If you liked Payday 2, I really believe you'll like Payday 3, and if you've never played a Payday before, you'll like the beta. If you like co-op games, FPSs, and or just problem solving / puzzle games, I highly suggest that you check it out. And again, that is available until the 11th, which is just this weekend. For the longtime fans that are interested, I'm not sure what press they've put out about this, but they did tell us in person at the event that they are going to have an even bigger campaign for post-launch content than they did with Payday 2. So even after launch, expect new stuff to pop up for years. Unfortunately, there's one thing I missed out on, and it sucks because it was what a lot of people wanted to know about in detail, and that's the stealth gameplay. It wasn't that I necessarily missed out on it, but it's that we just kept failing at it. I wish I could show you our own footage, but the captured footage that we have provided to us does show essentially our experience with it as well. I'm not sure if it was bugged or just really difficult to figure out, but we had 2 hours to play where we got 4 full games in, and all 4 we weren't able to figure out how to complete a round completely stealthy. We would get far, and during one it seemed there was just one objective left, but each time we ended up having to mask up. I played with Operator Drewski, Karmakut, and Moydog, so if you do know those guys, it's possible they found a way to extract some of their footage, but last I talked to them, it was fried. And again, the footage that was provided to us does seem pretty similar, especially one game in particular, which of course I'm showing on screen. On that note though, having played with 3 other people who definitely knew how to play shooters and communicate well, the games went fantastic. That was possibly the best aspect to me personally, was the cooperation to get through. This game can be very difficult when you want it to be, whether artificially by trying to go stealth or doing some kind of specific achievement, or literally by cranking up the difficulty. You can get that feeling for yourself already from the beta if you play with your friends. You can all be on point for half the mission and up until you're actually in the truck leaving. All it takes is for one person to mess up a little bit and you're all shooting it out for the rest of the game. It's genuinely a lot of fun. I highly suggest that you try it with 3 friends. Unfortunately for us, it is 4 players max, so it won't work with the full Tarkov PMC squad. You'll have to roll the Scav squad on that one. But just leave out the power-hungry, egotistical, know-it-all bossy friend from the group, since there's always one, and you'll have a great time. You can solo queue and matchmake in case you are that person, or lacking in the friends department, which, while on that subject, you can fix that by going to my Discord that's linked in the description. We have a great LFG community. You can also go to discord.gg/NoiceGuys, and that's spelled like the channel. That's NoiceGuys if you are interested. Now, continuing on that subject, what has also been a major issue has been the UI navigation and the lobby setup, both in person and for sure in the online beta. Although, side note here, it is a stress test, so this stuff was bound to happen. It was chaos trying to invite my friends and get the squad together. Eventually, it consistently worked out, so I'm optimistic they'll figure it out, and is supposed to again be a stress test with the beta, so just heads up with that. While in-game, and at least again in the beta, the UI wasn't that intuitive, you wouldn't necessarily understand. There's a bunch of things you're not able to do unless you have a specific perk or a specific set of equipment or a specific level, or be masked up in order to do certain things. However, at least for the masked up stuff, it would tell you you need to be masked up in order to do that. But before you got to that point, you would try and fail to do lots of different things several times before you actually realized that's the case. Even with things so simple as jumping. Yes, literally just jumping or vaulting through windows. You can't jump and do a bunch of combat related things, which the combat related things do make sense, but for the stealth stealthy stuff, you're not going to be masked up, so it didn't really make sense at the time. I guess it makes sense for balance reasons and stuff like that. And I'm sure, actually, I don't even need to say I'm sure, I know there's lots of perks and there's lots of unlocks and stuff like that you're going to be able to get down the line to help with this stuff. But it was a bit weird in the open beta, so just keep that in mind when you're low level or playing in the open beta, or, you know, both. The things that they choose to exploit in order to make the game more difficult with the difficulty slider is also an issue to me, because it just makes the enemies more bullet spongy as far as I can tell, which especially at the lower levels is excruciating. I get why they did it, but personally, I don't think I'm alone on this. I just don't like bullet sponge enemies, again, personally. However, I still play and love plenty of games that have them, such as Destiny and The Division, so I think Payday 3 will be the same boat, truthfully, as practically every other aspect I really enjoyed. I love the customization to start, lots of different options for guns as well as attachments for those guns. That, from the limited time I had in the game with the fully leveled accounts, do seem to change the characteristics of the weapons sufficiently. I would like to say it changed them significantly, but again, I only had a couple games, so I couldn't, it's not really a valid point if I say that. I definitely noticed a difference, so I'll keep with the word sufficient for now. Of course, there's loads of cosmetic options, which as a bank robbery game is a must. It's a bit limited in the beta, but in the open play session I went through everything. There's a lot, trust me, and damn do I wish I had that footage. If you really want to know, I would look out for all the Payday 3 videos that are out there. It's possible that somebody was able to get some kind of good footage from it, and hopefully they went through those options. Or just stay on the lookout, or just wait for launch. It's only a couple weeks away. As I digress here, the beta is also missing a bunch of guns, but the perks seem to all be there. It's possible that there are a few missing, but it really does seem like all the perks are there. Speaking of the perks, I really like them in the way that they lay out your style of play as well as coordination with your team. You should focus on a particular power, as I call it. I'm not sure if there's a real name here. Some people might call it like ultimate or something. It wouldn't really be an ultimate. It's just something that you're trying to get to happen passively, so I call them powers. So those powers are edge, giggity, grit, and rush. When you're edging, giggity, you deal 10% extra damage. When you have grit, you take 10% less damage. And when you have rush, you move faster. There's several perks that will activate these powers, and then there's dozens of perks that will play off of you having said power. So for example, I wanted to focus on DPS, so I would look for edge, where I would want to be edging giggity as much as possible in order to do as much damage as possible. When you have the mower perk, for example, you'll start edging giggity every 35 bullets that you shoot. You don't even need to hit something, you just need to shoot. So if a police assault just started, dump a mag into the first thing that you see moving, and as soon as you do, plus, you know, give or take 5 rounds depending on the magazine that you have, you'll be doing 10% extra damage, and the rest of your perks are buffed as long as you set them up correctly. I forget what I ran during the closed session, but I did something very specifically similar as the beta, where I ran perks that when edging giggity, I had less recoil and my hits had a chance to heavily stagger the targets, which is important with the heavier targets and the more damaged targets. There's more perks to play off of that too, but I hadn't earned them yet in the beta. As you can imagine, there's seemingly infinite combinations and builds based off of not just these powers, but supporting your team in general and buffing your character passively, from dropping extra ammo, healing more, working with hostages, working with gadgets, hacking, picking, stealth, and much, much more. The perks in this game are genuinely one of my favorite parts. I love mixing and matching builds for stuff like this. A lot of people asked about the enemy variants, and as far as I know, they are the same variety here with the tasers, hostage teams, snipers, bulldozers, and of course your boy the cloaker with the infamous sound still intact. Don't worry about that. With the amount of old yet new vibes I'm getting from it, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some new enemies in the works, but I'm not certain that there are. It's possible that Clown Guy is making an appearance here and I'm missing something too. There are 2 new characters though, with Pearl and Joy added to the squad. I could not select them during the beta, but they will be in the game on release for sure. They showed off a lot of them during the in-person play session, and they were available during that session. So again, if you're a Payday 2 fan, I would say don't worry, because Payday 3 is right up the same alley, and if you're on the fence or have never played, you should check out the open beta. It'll be available until the 11th of September, pretty much this weekend. But again, look out for the networking issues, as it is a stress test, so we did run into some lobby and matchmaking issues. When getting the squad together, if you can't join a party, try accepting an invite from outside of the game through Steam. So have the game closed, then accept a Steam invite, or join a friend through Steam from your desktop. That worked well for us. And again, that's just a beta issue that did not pop up for us when we were actually playing the full version of the game in person. Also, I suggest that you start with normal until you unlock some perks and builds, because it's genuinely very difficult with limited perks and attachments on anything above normal difficulty. It's not impossible, and you will get XP, but damn is it tough to get out with money, which you will need to purchase things that you unlock with XP. There is a strategy to play the harder difficulties for XP, and even if you die, you'll get a bunch of XP, and then you farm the lower difficulties quickly for the money. That's definitely a valid strategy, but it's up to you. That's all for now, guys. You can check out the full version of Payday 3 along with me on the 21st of September or the 18th of September if you get the silver or gold editions of the game. That, of course, include extra goodies on top of that. Check out the Steam page for full details. Stay tuned for new content on the game after launch if you're interested. Like the video if you did, sub for more, comment what you think, and check out my other channels for other games right here. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a nice day. See you guys.